Hello, hello, hello. It's Keita Williams, founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. Success Bully is an elite accountability practice, so that makes me your personal professional butt kicker. And I just like to give you a little background if you've never met me or the team before. We're not a life coach. We're not life coaches here. We don't get into your squish. We don't get into self discovery. We don't get into wonder wheels and desire mapping. What we focus on is goal setting and accountability, getting the work done. We are all about that action, and we particularly serve entrepreneurs and side hustlers who are looking to scale their businesses so they can create their own economy, build their future, and have their freedom. How'd y'all like that one? I feel like I did that pretty well. Okay. So the last few days, we have been in one of our spirited challenges called the 5 Days of Focus Challenge for our aspiring corporate escape artists. And this is a passion project dedicated to our side hustlers. Having been a former corporate escape artist myself, starting Success Bully as a joke, I said it as a joke and it turned into something and eclipsed my corporate salary in less than a year and a half. When I was ready to go, I did it in 8 months. And so I know that it's possible to build your business in a way that you can leave corporate and stay gone. And so the last few days, we've been walking you through a number of exercises to really help you frame your thinking around what that looks like for you, really getting clear on the walk away numbers and the strategies it's going to take to get that done. And so thank you for joining us. And thank you. This is our bonus content for that because like the last few days, we've been serving. So we might as well over deliver. So we're on to the second week of the 5 days of focus. And so I would like to take a moment to thank each one of you for participating. Thank you for doing your homework. Thank you for challenging the status quo in the sense of looking at your business differently, putting in the efforts to really get behind the idea of mapping out your plan and getting clear on what it takes to do that. So I want to thank you all for that. I want to take a moment to thank my team. It is a lot that happens behind the scenes to make this all go. So I want to thank Cici. I want to thank Jen. I want to thank Aya. I want to thank everyone that works so tirelessly to make us look well buttoned up and spend a lot of their time making me look good. So I want to thank my team. I want to thank their efforts, and I want to thank them for believing in the vision and where we're going in 2021 and beyond with this coaching practice. So I want to say a special thank you to my team. A little bit of admin. If your first name begins with the letters, I know this one. Oh, help me out, Cici. A through C or O through R, Jen is your magical concierge. So if you need anything, if you have questions, if you need to book a strategy session with me, if you're stuck on any component that we've covered in the last few days, reach out to Jen. If your first name begins with the letters G through N and S through Z, Cici is your concierge. So reach out to Cici. Look for friend requests from our team. Look for messages from us. We are serving. We are not here to pester you. We are here to make sure you take action. Because this has all been gratis coaching that you're getting. And the best coaching is only as good as the action that is taken. So we want to encourage you to take action. In the last couple days, we've covered quite a bit of ground, and we designed, look at this workbook. Bianca, do you see that workbook? Look at that. It's very fancy workbook. I printed mine in color as a treat for myself. Usually I print it in black and white because I'm cheap. But I went for the color because why not? Why not? Over the last couple days, we walked you through a framework that we designed as if it was a great caper. So on day one, we asked you to case the joint, and that was looking at your numbers the last 6 months, looking at your revenue, where it came from, looking at your expenses, and what were your biggest takeaways. Are you seeing any patterns in your revenue? Is it slow going? Or are you seeing spikes, high, low, high, low, high, low? All of that maps towards whether you're selling enough or if you're consistent in your money-making activities, or as I like to call them, your MMAs. Day two, we'd ask you to find your mark. So getting real clear about your walk-away number. So what is that number that your business needs to bring in for you to decide that it's a real thing and you can leave? And then I challenge you to add 30%, because the opposite of fear is not courage. It takes 45 to 60 seconds of courage to do anything. It's actually confidence. So I want you to confidently have a number in mind that when you get close to it, you know it's time to start winding down your corporate your corporate life. And then thinking about that walk away number, how long do you think it's going to take you to get there? And then again, I'm going to ask you to add 3 months to that. So we got really clear on that. And I even challenge you to draft your resignation letter. So what does that look like? Some of it was waxing poetically. And then we had a couple 2-liners that were really exciting that I was like, oh, that's punchy. Let's get into it. Day 3, we asked you to plan the caper and answering 4 key questions. What do you want? When do you want it by? What are you willing to add or subtract? And why is this important to you? And when I say, what do you want? It's just not the cash. What we're usually chasing is a feeling. Do you want your freedom? Do you want your flexibility? What is it you're going after? Are you trying to prove? Are you trying to show, break a generational curse? Are you trying to leave a legacy for your family? Are you trying to not have to be somewhere at 9 o'clock every day? What is it that you're chasing after? And I asked you to think about all the things it's going to take to get to your walk away number, breaking those down into steps and really focusing in on the first 90 days. On day 4, we asked you if you had an accomplice. So we asked you to enlist your accomplices because what we know to be true is that you are 95% more likely to complete a goal when you are accountable to someone else. So do you have an accountability partner? Do you have someone in your space that you can work with? On day 5, I asked you to get away with it. We gave you some tips on how to get away with it. And some of that is keeping that walk away number in front of you, being very clear about what you need to do daily to make money and tracking that, right? So we talked about how to get away with it. On day 6, we talked about some of my productivity hacks. And number 1, first thing I asked you to do is remove the phrase busy from your vocabulary because busy is a lie. If you are over the age of 13, everybody is busy. So therefore no one is. And we do not want to be busy. We want to be productive and impactful. So I do not want to be blessed and busy. I want to be relaxed and impactful. And I also asked you to look at narrowing that to-do list to 6 items. Bianca's going to talk a little more about that. As I see her to-do list behind her. And so we talked about narrowing your focus on weekly, what are the 6 priorities, and then daily, what are the 6 things that you're going to do to drive this forward. We also talked about the KISS method and keeping it simple, and that's just understanding your ideal customer, what's your irresistible offer, and how you're going to get in front of them. Business is not more complicated than that. If it's hard, you're probably doing it wrong. If it's hard, you're probably doing it wrong. So we asked you to simplify. And so today, where I want to land the plane in my recap is to just encourage you around the idea of the compound effect. And the compound effect is the idea that as you take action, right? As you get out of your own way and you stay in action, you actually start taking those radical actions for those radical outcomes, they start paying off in dividends, right? So it's not always a 2 + 2 = 4. Right? There is some multiplication that happens when you get in motion and you stay in motion. Some of the things that you do consistently can pay off 10x, 20x, 30x. Right? And so what I want to encourage you around, especially when it comes to your money making activities, especially when it comes around scaling your business, stay in it long enough to see the results. Keep working long enough to see the results. And as the results start coming in, it creates this flywheel that it feels like a grind. It feels like you're putting in all of this effort. It feels like all of this effort. It feels like all of this effort. But once you start that momentum going, it has a snowball effect. It has a snowball effect and it picks up steam. And then you start realizing that you get inbound requests. There are people that reach out to you that you have never met that want to do business with you, right? But you got to stay in it long enough to do that. And so what I want to reiterate with you is that making sure that you have a plan, you stick to plan, you track your progress. You track your progress and you show up every day. You show up every day so that you can create that compound effect in your business. You'll find that as you keep going, you'll build efficiencies, right? Or as you bring in more revenue, you can hire people to outsource things so that you can serve at a higher level, right? So, but you have to stay in it long enough to see that compound effect. And as someone who's, on the other side of COVID or still in COVID, what 2020 did to all of us, no one on the planet right now is walking around untouched by the pandemic. But what that taught us was that if we stay in motion, we can continue to see results, right? So there was a moment where we could have just said, tapped out and said, okay, let's go get a job. Everybody, I'm shutting it down. There was a moment last year. But if you stay in motion, you stay in it, you show up, you're consistent, you do the work, the compound effect begins to happen, right? Where it takes less work to get bigger, better results. But you gotta stay in it long enough to do that. And so with that, that's the perfect transition for me to remind you that we have flung open the doors, like we kicked the barn doors open to the Exit Strategy Academy, which is our year-long coaching program dedicated to side hustlers who are serious about scaling their business and putting a plan in motion, getting it done so that they have the option. I'm not telling anybody to quit their job, but it's nice to have options. It's nice to go to work and go, I don't actually need to be here. This is an eccentric hobby for me. That's why I'm at work. Or my personal favorite, I'm here till my stock vests. Then I'm out of here. Right? It's nice to have that option. Or, as we know, the economy went topsy-turvy and it's still topsy-turvy. You could walk in and not have a job tomorrow. So it's nice to have the option to walk away when you see fit. And so the Exit Strategy Academy, we're incredibly proud of this program in that it is designed and conceived by side hustlers who have been putting in the work. And I feel like it answers a lot of the questions I had when I got started, where like I felt like I got stuck all the time, or I was so exhausted from working full time. Getting home and still trying to work on the business, and I'm staying up all night working myself tired. And at a certain point, I felt like I was going to quit everything. So if this sounds like you, I want you to reach out to our team. So if you are feeling that your high impact corporate job, along with all that you have to do to show up for your family, your self-care, you're staying hydrated, being gorgeous everywhere you go, if that feels like it is taking a lot of demands on your time and you're having trouble working in the business, you're working in the business versus on the business, reach out to the team. If you find yourself being distracted by a bunch of busy work where you're always busy, but that's not showing up on your P&L, reach out to the team. If you are feeling any of these things, if you are crippled by procrastination, if the fear of failure is getting in your way, or the opposite of that, the fear of success, you're self-sabotaging because it's actually going well, and you're spending way too much time on the wrong things, reach out to our team. If your side hustle revenue is unpredictable and unreliable to the extent where you can't see yourself making that leap to full-time entrepreneurship, reach out to the team. Like I said, this program is designed specifically for our side hustles. And what I know to be true in my 20 plus years of corporate and in my years of coaching, that it's not that you don't know what you're doing. It's not that you don't know. It's not that you don't know. No, we all know what we need to do, essentially. But it's really hard to read the label from inside the bottle, right? So it's really hard to see the pathway clearly because we're often getting in our own way. We're stressing out. We're doing all it. We're pulling out our calculators and doing all the math, and we're doing PowerPoints on PowerPoints on PowerPoints rather than taking action. So literally, it's the 2%. You need a little nudge. You need a butt kicking. Or you haven't quite figured out what's next. You're doing what you know to do, and you can't see any further. Get out of your own way. Reach out. If you are finding that you need some new boss lady habits, that the old way of doing things is exhausting, perhaps reach out to the team. And so I want to encourage you that the Exit Strategy Academy is open. What you get with this program is intensive planning sessions with myself and the team to help you replace your corporate salary. We have live coaching calls weekly with me. We also have weekly office hours, which are with our coach in residence, Coach Gigi, who was you can check out Coach Gigi in Friday's session. You have access to our accountability tracker, as well as an assigned accountability partner for daily check-ins. So you always have 2 touch bases with the team. You also have visibility into where you are, and you have an accountability partner. Bianca was lucky enough to have me as her accountability partner last year. We'll talk more about that. And then we have quarterly boss lady hot seats where we'll sit down as a group and go pop the hood on your business to dig deeper and look at your plan and see if there's any way that we can accelerate things to get you in motion faster, because success likes speed. Success like speed. So once you get in motion, you start taking those radical actions, those outcomes come a lot faster. And so, like I said, we're opening the doors for our Q2 cohort. So we'll be starting in early April with the cohort. And so for the year, a year-long program, most programs like this are in excess of $12,000 and up to work with a coach for that length of time. For this program, we're coming in at $7,800 for the year. So you can pay in monthly installments, which is $650 a month. Or if you do a special promo and you pay in full, we're giving $1,000 discount and one deep dive strategy session with myself and just me and you. And that comes in at $6,800. So if you have any questions, you can go to the website, theexitstrategyacademy.com, or you can reach out to our team and get a strategy session booked with me. So if you're asking yourself, why this, why now? Okay, I'm going to tell you one last time. 2021 isn't going to be much better than 2020. 2021 had one job, and that was to be less controversial than 2020. And it's not. It's already going off the rails. 2021 is already going off the rails. And so understanding that the economy isn't going to recover anytime soon. We're going to continue to battle this pandemic, and like working remotely, homeschooling, all of these different things are still going to continue to be challenges that are out of our scope of control. The one thing you can change is yourself, right? You can change your strategies, you can change your attitude, you can change your approach, right? Your freedom cannot wait. Again, your job is not promised to you. Your retirement savings is not promised to you. Your cushy health insurance is not promised to you. Your future is literally in somebody else's hands that you probably don't know personally. I had to step back and think of, like, in my corporate career, did I actually know the owner of the company personally? So that is, all of this is out of your scope of control. But if you are looking to accelerate your growth and build your own economy, look into this program. I can guarantee you, if you want to wait till Q3, prices is going up because my demands get higher. We airplane seating. So becoming quite the popular coach these days. So the price is going to increase if you want to do the Q3 cohort. And finally, if you change nothing, if you keep doing what you're doing, if you change nothing, what do you stand to lose? And that's bigger than a couple dollars. What do you stand to lose if you don't take action, right? That is your freedom, your flexibility, your peace of mind, control over your own destiny, the opportunity to design the life of your dreams. Y'all, when I tell you I work 25 to 32 hours and then I get an attitude if I go over 32 hours. I have an attitude problem if I have to work a full 8-hour day. I have to. Off on Fridays. I have to. So if you want to look more into that, reach out to our team. Like I said, if your first name begins with the letters A through C or O through R, Jen is your concierge. If your first letter of your name begins with the letters D through N and S through Z, Cici is your concierge. And so with that, remember the compound effect. Stay in it long enough to actually start seeing the results and to actually start seeing that flywheel going where it kind of takes on a life of its own. But you got to stay in it long enough for that. And so, speaking of compound effect, one of my favorite compound effects. Okay, I'm going to do my best to read this without crying. And so I am very emotional today, and that is because Bianca Williams-Griffin is not only one of my favorite success stories. She is my cousin, and she's my older cousin who trusted me enough with her vision to grant me the honor of being her coach. And that just, it warms my heart. You know you're doing something right when your family want to work with you. Because usually folks are like, Keita, what does Keita do all day? No one. I'm a middle child. No one pays attention to the middle child. And so it's been incredible to watch her growth, incredible to see all that she's accomplished. And we have so much to celebrate today. I won't spoil it. We have so much to celebrate today. So without further ado, Bianca Williams-Griffin is a co-founder of WR Publishing, a company that seeks to empower and uplift African American women through literature. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. Miss Williams. Yes, I'm gonna call you Miss Williams. Is a graduate of the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where she received a Bachelor of Arts in English. She's also a graduate of UW-Milwaukee, where she earned a master's degree in curriculum and instruction. She is currently the English Language Arts Consultant for the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction. Get into it. Working with colleagues across the state to ensure that all students in Wisconsin graduate high school, college, and are career ready. Oh my goodness. Okay, I got to pull it together. She is a certified professional educator and has worked in the field of education for over 2 decades. How are we? I don't even understand how we have like that much experience. Everybody's got 20 years of experience. Where did time go? WR Publishing is a labor of love and an entrepreneurial journey that she has been on for the past 3 years. Through her work with WR Publishing, she aspires to change the world one word at a time. I held it together. I held it together all the way through. I held it together. I held it together. And welcome, Bianca. I held it together all the way through.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. That was just lovely.
Oh my goodness. All the things I'm like, don't do it. This is not water resistant mascara. Don't do it. Don't do it. So share a little bit about your background in the sense of like, you went from the classroom to being a consultant to now an entrepreneur. What were your thought processes in this journey?
Well, you know, I've always wanted to be an educator. Like I always wanted to be a teacher. So I did that. That was wonderful. Never thought I would leave the classroom. Thought I would just, you know, they would pull my cold dead body out of a classroom. Love kids, love teaching English. Just had a wonderful time basically in a middle school in Milwaukee and urban middle schools. So very challenging job, but I just loved it. And through that journey, I started to move a little bit further out of the classroom. I started coaching teachers and things of that nature. And then finally, I moved into the Department of Public Instruction. So that was kind of the journey. Now, the entrepreneurial thing was really not on the radar. It was not something that I thought I would ever get into, but education kind of brought that to me too. And I was actually my co-partner in the business and also the co-founder and a very dear friend, Sandra Richardson. We were working at Hopkins Lloyd Community School. So shout out to anybody from Hopkins that's out there listening. You know, just a wonderful environment for, you know, to come together as a community. So we were working there together, and she stopped me on the stairs one day just out of nowhere and was like, "Hey, I know you like to write, and I was wondering if you would help me write my memoir." So
you're like,
I was
stairs?
like, yeah, on the stairs, literally on the stairs. And so I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I'll give it a go. I do like to write, and I've often thought about writing a book. So yeah, sure, let's do this. So long story short, we started to do it. And along the way, we decided that we wanted to have a lot of control over it. We wanted to, and we not only wanted to control the story that she had written and her life experience and her journey, but we also wanted to empower African-American women, other African-American women, to tell their story. And that's kind of how this entrepreneurial journey started to come to be.
I love it. I love it. I love that I'm not alone in the idea of being like almost like a hesitant entrepreneur, or like I'm an accidental entrepreneur.
Yes,
I started as a joke, and then it turned into something, and I was like, I guess this is what we're doing. So it's really interesting how everyone kind of comes to it. And so, how has your experience as an educator influenced the way that you approach entrepreneurship?
Well, I'll tell you this: it's anyone that decides to teach and has taught for, I'd say, even 3 years plus, understand, is not afraid of a challenge. Is not afraid of a challenge in any way. Teaching is not, it's not hard work. It's not that, but it's a lot of moving pieces. So it just, anyone that has been in a classroom or in a school setting, the number of moving pieces that you have to operate all the time prepares you for just about anything. So I think just I wasn't afraid to do it. I hadn't thought about it, but it was just another challenge. And so so education, being in the educational system, working with kids and modeling that for children, like you always have to model what you want kids to learn. So, and I'll just throw this short little story out. We took the kids up to a YMCA camp one year, and wanted these urban kids from the inner city of Milwaukee to get on a horse. Okay. And they were like, absolutely not. They were not getting anywhere near the horses. And so I had to get on a horse. Like I had to model to the kids. And myself being from Milwaukee, being an urban kid, I'd never been on a horse before. And I think I might have been 30 then. And I was like, okay, I got to get on this horse, because if I don't get on this horse.
If I don't get on the horse, nobody's getting on the horse.
And I wanted them to have this experience. So so I got on the horse, and, then we all had an excellent time. And so just, it prepared me to just take a challenge and not be afraid, and to model that for others. So even with the authors that we work with, any of the events that we have, the speaking engagements, you get a little nervous. You get the butterflies in the stomach, but you just feel like you can just do it. So you just get out there. It's just another challenge. And you have that modeling spirit in you. You want to model success. So you just go ahead and do it. So that's how
I love it. I love it. So then tell me, what would you say is your guiding light, your North Star, your big mission for WR Publishing?
Oh, wow. I just, I just want to write stories that impact, Black women in positive ways. We are definitely a company that wants to amplify the voices of Black women, African American women, but it doesn't. We work with all types of authors. We want people of all different walks of life to come to our events, but we just want to make sure that the story and the voices of African American women are elevated, and that whatever work comes out of our publishing company really impacts them in positive ways. So and that can look a lot of different ways. So we just enjoy the journey, and so we just want to like the slogan is changing the world one word at a time. Communication is key, and we just want to keep the conversation going, keep those stories out there in positive ways, and have a handle on our own narrative. So
I love it. So what I've been really impressed about with what you're doing is that it's not just books. It's not just books, that it's a whole ecosystem around storytelling and owning the narrative. That it is any of your events are focused on our narrative and what that looks, and even the bringing cross generations together to have a conversation. I think that that's powerful, and being able to facilitate conversations that, depending on what kind of household you're raised in, you may not have that conversation till you are a full grown, comfortable adult, right? And so I think it's so powerful that besides the physical written word and the physical books that you're producing, that you are extending the brand out into this community outreach component. And I've been, I haven't been able to make an event because I wish you would schedule your events so they didn't conflict with stuff I got to do every day. But I will say, let's talk a little bit about No Hot Comb, please. Can we take a moment to talk about this is a double-sided story. I have my advanced copy because I'm special.
Yes, you would pull that book. That book is really very special to me. It is authored by my mother and your aunt, Evelyn.
My auntie.
And I heard you talk earlier about not giving up on your dream or what you want, and it's a commitment, and sometimes it takes some time. It does take some time. Like my mom has been trying to write that particular story for a long time, and so she was through the publishing company we were able to do that. And it's a wonderful story just about an experience she had with her mother. Getting your hair done. We all had those, what happened when you're getting your hair done. So, we all have that story. And so it's, it's just really, it's a lot of fun. Her friend wrote the flip side of that story. And so it was Shirley Berry. She wrote the flip side of that story. And so it's 2 stories in there, and it's just a lot of fun. And it's been receiving a lot of, just a lot of love. So I'm just really excited about that. And that's our latest one. And it's just fun. It's fun to hear the stories. It's amazing.
I definitely had my reminiscent moments of like Easter Sunday, and there was a whole production. Like I'm one of 4 girls, so we had a production line when it came to getting hair.
Yeah, that's my mom has 4 sisters, so definitely there was a production line there. That is, and household of 4 girls. So yeah, there was definitely a lot of drama around that.
And even I think that what I love about it is the deeper conversation around beauty standards, right?
Yes.
And what beauty is and is not, and that you can choose. You do not have to fall in line with what is considered beautiful by society. You can choose what works for you, and there's actually no right or wrong. It is what works for you.
Yeah, that was a really, when we do, you mentioned earlier the cross-generational conversations that we have. And we did our first series, it was November, December, and January. This is the first time we did it, and that was a response to COVID. That was just a response to COVID. So we had to figure out what we were going to do. It was all online. And it was one of the standards of beauty across generations, having that conversation.
Did that one get spicy?
Yes, it was, we went all the way from girdles to, whether you have your natural hair, the weave, the wig, we went through it all. And we also talked about the health and wellness as well. We wanted to make sure that was a component, because it's great to be beautiful. That's wonderful. But, we want to make sure the inside and all the things that we need to do for ourselves, we're doing that as well. So
I'm so excited. It gives me I'm all aflutter, because like this wasn't like a few months ago. Seeing the progress that you have made. Oh my goodness. You remember me like yelling on the phone? Like, what's your goal? Okay, we're going to 3x that.
Yes.
And so that's a great segue into the idea of like, when did you, besides, me harassing you at Christmas, when did you decide that like coaching was an option for you? Like, when did you decide to proactively seek out coaching?
Well, okay, so let's just be real, right? Okay, so we were in Savannah at Christmas.
It was family Christmas. I called that one big ass Christmas. That was
yes. We were, and Keita kind of said it before. She, you don't always know what your family is doing. You just don't talk about that. You got other stuff to talk about with family. But I was having some issues at work. And there were some challenging partnerships that we were working and trying to navigate. And I just was talking about it, and she was like, okay, well, let's get into this, and I'm thinking like, what? So you really helped me process that. And I went back to work, did what you said, just kind of, like you said, almost like a joke, like, okay, like I'm just
like, okay, there go Keita again.
And so, and it worked. And so I was like, okay, wow. Okay. So she knows what she's doing. And so, I never had any doubt. So when I got to the point where my plate was so full, and one of the things that you kind of told me that kind of made me push me over the edge was, brilliant people have more than one brilliant idea. And so you have to start thinking about how to scale it. So my plate was so full, and you were like, because people, but all these dummies are getting rich because they ain't got but one idea, and they just work that idea until
stupid people are winning.
Yeah, and so they're winning. And so I was like, okay, that makes some sense. And so my plate was so full. I had so many things going on, and I didn't want to give up anything. I loved it all, And so, but I had to figure out how to prioritize, and I had to figure out what, and I did have to give up some things, some things that I liked, but I had to think about the bigger picture. So, but yeah, so my plate was so full. and I needed some support. So I was like, hey, I got to get. I reached out for help. I think all too often we have this thing in our mind that we see other people doing things and we don't. We just think they're just doing it naturally. But no, people are seeking help all the time and support. And coaching is just a way to support your dream. So if LeBron James can have a coach, definitely you need one. So
if Serena got multiple coaches, one for her serve, one just for the serve.
Right. Yeah, right. You need at least one. So yeah. So
at least one coach.
So that was it. My plate was just too full. And I was doing everything kind of mediocre, and I needed to focus.
Yeah, I do think that, like, and we were kind of talking about this, that like sometimes we fill up our plate as a form of self-sabotage, so that we're distracted from the stuff we need to do that we don't want to. We just add onto the plate, and create this sense of restlessness and busyness, so that we feel accomplished, but we aren't necessarily getting any closer to our goals, any closer to our dreams. And so then what would you say is in the time that you've worked with the Success Bully team, because it's not just me, what would you say are some of your biggest accomplishments?
Oh, well, I'll just say it right out, is like, making some real money,
Cash money, baby.
Right, because it is, when it's a labor of love, I think that, and it's a passion of yours, you kind of you'll do it even if you don't make money. But
right.
and I'll say, and I'll backtrack a little bit. And that was another thing I needed to know. I got a coach because I needed to know if this was just a passion project, if it was just like something that I just was going to do, or if it was something that I was going to actually try to do to make money. So so that was accomplished, really doing that. But then also learning how to narrow my focus, really having a plan. That was great. Having a schedule, like really thinking, what are this is my schedule for the day, and committing to that and following through, holding myself accountable, having an accountability partner, those types of things. I think also just with that, we had, we got another book published. We, the events started to happen. We have clients, that we're working with. And so it just really, kind of started to make sense. It started to all come together in a more sensible way. And so those are, the major. We got 2 sponsors for an event recently, and I wasn't even on thinking sponsorship for the cross-generational conversations and things, but that came, and so now it's like, okay, once it's kind of brought to your attention, then you start working at it, and you can really start to, like you said, to that compound effect, and you can start moving towards your goal much quicker.
I love it. Because no matter what goal Bianca says she wants to hit, I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's work on that. Yeah, I'd like to do 50K this year. And I'm like, yeah, great. I can't wait to support you in your first 6-figure year.
That's what she does.
And I'm like, great. I heard you. That's not what we doing. And so if anybody if they wanted to get their hands on No Hot Comb Please, if they wanted to connect with you and participate in your upcoming events, how do we find you?
Well, you can always go to the WR Publishing Facebook page. And then there's also our website is theundercoverchild.com. So you can purchase all of the books on that site. You can purchase the events on that site. We have you can look at past events that we've had, things like that on that site. And you can also leave us a message if you want to contact us for a consultation about a book. We work with all types of authors. We have people who have full manuscripts that they just haven't done anything with. And then we have people who just have an idea. They just have an idea, something that they want to do. So, and we work and help and coach them through that. So all the way through publication. And that's what we do.
I'm so excited. I don't know if you know this about me, but I collect signed copies of books. So everybody has their thing. So that's why I was like, I need Auntie to sign mine.
Okay,
You're
and
like, this is
don't
my
read
collector one.
that because it'll start some drama. So don't read
I'm
it.
not going to read the inscription because it's for me. But yes, so I collect signed copies of books. And so this is my collector's edition. This is going to be worth a lot of money. Uh, so before I let you go, what is, if we had to give a nugget of advice to this community of side hustling empire builders, what would be your mic drop moment?
Hmm. It's to me, first of all, it's prayer. You gotta start praying, get stuff right, pray, plan, commit to your plan, really, really build up some discipline for that plan. And then, just, pray a little bit more.
Pray, plan, pray. I like it. The triple
Yes,
P.
and you're good to go. So that's it, and just it's a process. And don't give up on your dreams. It's a process. So it took my partner, who was our first, Sandra Richardson, who wrote The Undercover Child. It was 10 years before we got to publish that book. She had been working on that for 10 years. We got it published in about a year and a half. And we were, very novice at that time, but she waited 10 years to do that. So it's, you don't give up on your dream, you keep going. And when you look for support, you can make that dream just come true just so much quicker.
Oh, heartful, Bianca. I can't wait to hug you in real life. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room. Hold on, I'm gonna land the plane. Thank you, Bianca. So special thank you to Bianca. Once again, I am Keita Williams, and I am the founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. We are an elite accountability practice, and that means we're professional butt kickers. And I just want to reiterate what Bianca just said, that do not give up on your dreams. Trust the process. Develop that discipline. Pray and plan. And get some support. So if you want any more information about what we do here at Successfully, reach out. Like I said, the Exit Strategy Academy, we have flung open the doors for our Q2 cohort. So if you want to get involved, reach out to your concierge. If your first name begins with the letters A through C or O through R, Jen is your concierge. If your first name begins with the letters D through N and S through Z, CC is your concierge. And you can also check that out at the exitstrategyacademy.com and grab your spot, because we're only doing limited spots, because this is an exclusive year-long program, and we're going to help you scale on up out of corporate. So once again, I'm Keita Williams. Let's get after it.